What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Quick and dirty little update video for you today for the First Descendant based on patch 1.3.8, which basically went live a short time ago. Those of you that have been holding out saying like surely the swords can't be as terrible as they are, the good news is here we see a pretty significant patch or buff rather for one of the swords, and pretty much also a way for us to get more of the materials that we need to actually craft these swords, especially if you're someone that is trying to get a 4 out of 4 version of one of the swords or pretty much both of them. So just quickly looking at this here, this is essentially the patch that went live. So I mean it's live already for me, so at the time of you watching this video it'll already be there. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the void vessel medium-sized facility zone, which is of course the part of the void vessel that we're all doing to farm the sword parts. Now mentions that it's been improved so that opening a special materials storage box now has a low chance to grant an additional 20 to 50 ultra fine particle alloy. And also experimental material storage boxes on hard difficulty also have a low chance to grant an additional 20 to 50 photon quantum crystal. Now this is very much like if you do an abyss boss and you essentially have a chance of getting a large dump of those credits that you can use at the ETA store. This happens, I wouldn't say fairly frequently, but if you're farming that boss, for instance, you can oftentimes have this proc a few times in one sitting, you know, with multiple kills. Of course they don't mention the actual percentage here, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's something like a 2 to a 5% chance or something like that, but really it's not mentioned here, so really difficult to know. But this is good news. This is kind of like, many people think that the fucking showstopper is the parts to be able to do the reshoots. However, the ingredients is actually where you realize where it's going to take so long, because you have to do multiples of this void vessel as you are looking for the weapon parts themselves. And then the point is you have to open up the chest. You only have a certain amount of keys per run that you can use, and you kind of like, generally speaking, the smart thing to do is to prioritize one weapon over the other and then open one chest over the other so you can maximize the yield from that and then essentially craft. So this is something that's going to make that a little bit less painful at the very least. Do I still think that this is the Swiss Army knife solution to all of our problems? No. I think what they should do is they should give you a way to get keys during the run so that you can eventually open up all the chests within one particular run, so that there's not a point for you leaving chests behind or something like that. I definitely think that's a step in the right direction. Or you know what, fuck it, take the keys out. If you're doing the void vessel already, let you open up all the chests that you come across in the void vessel. I just kind of feel like that's the more harmonic way of doing it, but you know, who am I, right? Then specifically the buffs that I was referring to with the sword, this is Shadow, this is the DPS sword, not the fucking tanking sword, right? This has received some significant tune-ups, right? So first of all, the sprint speed has been adjusted up by quite a bit, and now it applies tow to targets hit by the Shadow Dash when using a special attack. This is pretty damn dope right here. Then it improved the range of the Shadow Dash and the damage of the Shadow Dash and the Shadow Slash when using a special attack. And this is all detailed in this thing here. So basically you can see a previous column and an after improvement column. You can see that, I mean, while these are not fucking insane buffs, the point is this does increase the damage profile of the weapon quite a bit, as well as the range of the skills. And by the time you have a 4 out of 4 weapon, you have a pretty beefy monster here. As you can see here, previously the melee damage did not continue scaling as you created a 2 out of 2, a 3 out of 3, a 4 out of 4, but now it actually does scale up to the point where you actually have a 4 out of 4 version of this weapon. It's almost basically double. I mean, it kind of looks like it's exactly double. It's exactly double. So that's really good. At least there's some incentive to go for a 4 out of 4 on these weapons. Do I still think swords are a little bit ass? Yes, I do. Am I still in the camp that says like I don't really understand why these are in the game? Yes, but I do understand that there are people that enjoy using them. They certainly look very stylish, and so this is definitely an incentive here to complete those farming you know, endeavors of yours and basically get a 4 out of 4 at least of the Shadow. Now Deus Ex Manus also got its sprint speed adjusted, and then we had like kind of like, I always thought that this was a bug. I kind of thought that this would get adjusted, but it says that improve the normal attack so that when many targets are hit, MP is only consumed once per normal attack to apply additional damage rather than for each target hit. So this was a problem with the weapon. Of course, the Deus Ex Manus uses MP when you hit, and so what would happen is if you would essentially in one swing collide with like 4 or 5 enemies, then it would tax you for 5 hits essentially, where it doesn't really make sense because you only swung once, never mind the fact that you collided with 5 targets. So yeah, that's pretty good. Some other sort of changes here and everything like that is not really any significance, honestly. There's just some UI and UX adjustments and that sort of thing here. So all in all, not like the biggest patch we've ever seen, actually quite small, but 2 fairly big changes. The fact that we can, you know, kind of like get some additional resources as we continue on to do this activity. And then, of course, Shadow becoming a lot sexier than it was at the time of this coming out. Do I think that they're done with adjusting the swords? Probably not. I think that people are still going to complain that these are fairly underwhelming. And it's probably going to get adjusted more, but I think that this is a stopgap kind of like solution for them as we are waiting for the part 2 of season 3, which is I think out 2 weeks from now or something like that, where I think we will see more significant changes, maybe to the chances of the parts dropping. Maybe more will drop, maybe more areas where we can get them will be. I think we can expect more significant changes to the whole farming in the game. At least I hope so. I have no information as of this time to make these kinds of predictions. It's basically just something that I know from my experience with playing the game, as long as all of you have. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any additional questions, anything like that. More videos to follow. Thank you so much for the support. It's been fantastic, and as always, fucking cheers.